Hello again, everybody. This is Derek, and I'm coming at you with another Wargaming and miniature video. In this video, we're going to be doing a little studio construction. What I am doing is I've got these MDF boards, you can see right there, and I'm going to be cutting them and I'm going to be making figure trays. As you might already know, I have shelves on the wall that I store all my armies and whatnot, but there's like a big 6-inch gap, but one of the shelves I think has an 8-inch gap, and I'm putting figures in there. They're only like an inch tall, 15 millimeter, and so there's all this headroom that's on my shelves going to waste. So I figured if I made some shelves, let me rephrase that, some trays, and I make them stackable, I could put like my British Army in a tray, put it on that shelf, and then I could take another tray and put my Americans in there and stack it on top, and then I could fill up that like 6-inch shelf. Now what I'm going to do is I have to rearrange my shelves a little bit to make sure that they're more uniform, because I've got some that are like 4 inches and then I've got some that are like 8 inches. So what I'm going to try to do is, and plus I'm using these little plastic like 1-quart tubs to put knickknacks, paint, tape, stuff like that on the shelf as well. And I've noticed that I would slide them into the shelf and then there would be this gap. So what I want to do is reduce that gap so those guys barely fit in. This might actually make it so that I could put another row of shelves on there, which I don't need. But this will, and then I'll put like a label on the front of the tray saying something like British, or British World War II, or British Para, or something like that. And then I could just slide that tray out. Now, I'm not making walls like a dresser drawer where you can slide trays in. I'm making trays that are stackable. So I'll have to take the top one off if I'm trying to pull the bottom one. Alright, so let me move the camera around. Now I apologize for the audio because I'm using my external camera, my camcorder, and the audio might be horrible. We're not inside in the studio. Now I've already did a little bit of prep. Actually I've done a lot of prep. It's like 3 days worth of contemplating how I wanted to do this. There should be like 7 boards here. Yep, there's like 7 boards, and I'm going to cut 4 walls out of this, and those 4 walls, 2, they're going to be in pairs, so that's going to mean 7 and then 7 more trays. So I'm going to do a total of 14 trays, but these are only the side walls, and then I'll have to go back in and do the back walls, and the front I'm not sure exactly how I want to do that. I'm thinking I don't even want to put anything on the front, and that way I can just grab the tray, but if I transport it I want to have it covered on all 4 sides, so I might do like a little 1-inch front. What I've decided is, instead of going with inches, I've decided to go with millimeters, and we're going to be doing a 60 millimeter cut along these boards. I also have something to say. I bought this, which is both in inches and in millimeters, which I'm totally cool with. I wasn't sure if it was going to fit on my jigsaw because it's actually sold for a circular saw, but my jigsaw had the spot to do it, and it's going to be making my cuts. Whoa! Okay, it's going to be making my cuts straight, or I hope. I don't want to go all like zigzagging. I'm going to have to focus on keeping this next to the board, and hopefully 7 boards is not so many boards that my knife is not going to be able to cut through. Now when I start the jigsaw up, it's going to be extremely loud. Yeah, it should be able to cut through it because that's all the way up. Okay, now I might have a little problem once I get into like really small wood. I don't know if I'm going to be able to clamp it. I hope I can. If not, we'll have to figure something else out. So if the jigsaw blows out the microphone, what I'll do is in editing I'll mute that, so you probably won't hear anything while it's cutting. Alright guys, I have decided to switch. I switched to my circular saw because I wasn't getting a straight cut with the jigsaw. So now I'm trying to salvage what I've already started. And I'm using that T on here as well, and I've maxed it out. So it's going to be maybe 1/4 of an inch bigger, but that's okay. Okay, making sure my blade was long enough. I didn't check that, but now, yeah, it is good. Wow. Okay. That cut straight. It also cut way easier. And I knew I couldn't get all the way through because of this bracket, this clamp. So I was planning on just flipping it over and then cutting it from the other side. This doesn't really have to be tight, this is just keeping it from flapping around. Well, here's 7 sides. Maybe I should only do like 7 and do like a proof of concept. You know, make 7 of them, and if they work, come back and make the other 7. was so close. Alright guys, we got the back cut. A little bit of imperfection right there. So we got the two sides very even, or close enough for government work. And then the back side is I don't know if you can see that. One plate, everything's shifting, but it's one plate thicker. Okay, so this is the sides and the back. And the front, I was thinking about just putting like a little nub of maybe a piece of balsa wood or something like that across the front, so that if I have any figures in there, they wouldn't just slide out. But another thing I was thinking I could do is put some paper railroading grass on the inside of every tray. Super thin, won't eat up any of the terrain, it'll look cool, and the figures won't slide around in there. I also thought about putting cork. I thought about putting non-slip shelving paper, you know, the rubber shelving non-slip inside there. Now we've got a little bit of work to do on the, I need to glue the walls on, but I'm also going to, now that'll make the tray flat on the table, you know, flat on the shelf. And then if I stack them, they'll shift around. I don't know, can you see me? There you go, I'm way over here. Yeah, if I stack them, they could shift and tip or whatever. So what I'm going to do is, on the bottom of every shelf, I'm going to put a popsicle stick on the sides, so that I can just slide it in and they will stack. I don't necessarily need to do that on the back, but I might, just so that they don't slide too far back. I don't anticipate that happening because there's a wall, but you never know. And so 3 popsicle sticks, simple 6-inch popsicle stick, just to keep it from shifting left and right. Alright, so let me take this inside and I'll work on it in there. Alright, catch you in a minute.
Hello, welcome back. This is Derek, of course, and this is actually, I started recording the cutting back in June, and at the end of June, and then I had a heart attack at the start of July. I was in the hospital for a while, so I wasn't able to get back to complete these trays. So now that we're back in September, a couple months later, we're going to get started. I've got the backs, the 2 sides. I even have the front balsa set aside here, and I bought these a long time ago to do scratch work, and I thought it'd be a perfect opportunity to put them on the front. So I've already cut a number of strips. We're going to go ahead and get started by gluing one of the sides on, and I'm using tacky glue. And we're going to put these two sides along the edge, and I'm looking at this plate and I'm looking for the side that's flat so that when I glue it, it'll lay flat on the baseboard. And there's the tacky glue. I also have some popsicle sticks here that I'm going to use on the bottom to keep everything, when I stack it, from slipping. Alright, so let's just apply some glue. Now I should be able to line this up on any side because all the sides should be the same length. So I'm going to put it flush with the outside edge and sitting on the top. That way, if I stack and put another tray on top, it will be under the baseboard. And I'm making sure that I make it flush with the back and the front and the sides. The reason why I need it flush with the back is when I put the back plate on, I'm going to attach it to the back of the baseboard and the sides. And the reason why the front needs to be flush is so that when I put the front little lip on there, it will, it'll be flush. Okay, now once I get that set, I use another one of these boards and I lay them on there gently to keep it upright, to keep it standing. And it shouldn't slide around. And then I just let it dry like that. And I'm visually just eyeballing the perpendicular to make it, stand 90 degrees straight up. If I really wanted to be anal about it, I could put another board on there to measure it, but I'm just going to let that sit and dry for a minute. All right, now luckily I've already made a few of these in various stages to speed up the process of making this video. So now we're just going to do the other side, because we're going to do the two sides before we do the back. Again, checking the flushness, applying the glue. And to be honest, I like to let it sit for about 30 minutes to an hour before I move on to the second board. But I didn't want to wait that long in the video. So I did a number of these in various stages ahead of time so that we could get this video over with. Okay. I'm planning on doing 6 of these today. Mainly that board that's leaning, it's not applying pressure. What it's doing is just keeping it from falling over. All right, the next step should be doing the back. And voila, I've got one with the two sides already dry. So now we're going to put the board that's just 3 millimeters wider on the back, the same depth that the baseboard is. It's just going to be a shy bit wider. All right, so now I stand this up. That way I can just apply the glue to the top edge and then place the backboard on. I'm just trial running it right now just to make sure everything looks like it's about in the right spot. And of course, we do the glue again. I'm using Aleene's tacky glue for a couple of different reasons. It has less water content and it's tacky, so it won't run or drip or like make a huge mess, and it won't, or it has less of a chance to warp any wood or paper that you might apply it to, cardstock, something like that, as opposed to like straight PVA or Elmer's glue or something like that, which has a higher water count. Okay, the smooth edge is going to go on the bottom. Line it up, and then just make sure the sides are lined up, which they're not always going to be perfect because I only eyeballed the 90-degree when I stood them up. I didn't like use a square or anything like that to make sure they were 90 degrees. I'm sure I could have, but I'm just trying to make some quick, easy, simple trays for my gaming shelves. Okay. Now apply a little bit of pressure along the sides there and along the bottom. And then what I will do is I'll flip it over so that the weight of the tray will go against the backboard and apply, gravitational pressure. And with the tacky glue, it will stay, long enough for me to flip it over. All right, now we'll let that sit and dry for a minute. And look at that, I have one just like it. Okay, with the back plate already installed. Now we need to do the front little board, the little lip to keep the miniatures from sliding out. I didn't want to do a full board on the front. I wanted to be able to see down inside and see, but I did want to make it so that if I put figures in, they wouldn't just slide out. So I needed something along the edge, and that's where this balsa wood comes in. I probably could have used a wider piece of balsa wood, maybe a full inch or something like that, but I didn't feel it was necessary. I'm going to line the boards or the trays with some felt so that they won't, so whatever miniatures I put in there won't necessarily slide around. I've been thinking about putting cork or maybe even shelving, like non-slip shelving paper or something like that, or shelving rubber in there. I don't know what I'm going to put in there, but I have been putting felt, and that's been working pretty good. Because I made 7 of these back in June, and these 6, and I didn't record it. Because it was a trial to see if it would work, and they did work really well. So now we line this up. Make sure it sticks to the glue. Some gentle tapping. It doesn't have to be all the way down. It could be up a little bit. I even considered putting it up, a large ways so that, figures wouldn't slide out. But I think this is good because everything that I'm going to be putting in there is going to most likely be on a movement base. So there should be no problem with it sliding out. All right, and we just set that off to the side, let it dry. And look at this. I've got another tray with the front already done, and the back and the front is dry. Figures are not going to slide out. It's only got like maybe 3 millimeters. But because the bottom is flat and flush, if I stack it, it could slip and fall over. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some guide rails on the bottom using the popsicle sticks. So now I just need three popsicle sticks. You could use any, if you got balsa wood or any other craft sticks might work. But I figured popsicle sticks will work, plus they'd give the bottom a little extra support. And they're kind of flat, so if I don't stack them, they'll still sit pretty good on the shelf. So I find the best 3 that are straight, not warped, because some of these popsicle sticks have a slight bend to them. So I'm trying to find all the ones that are straight. And I only need 3 per tray. And I'm going to put it on the tray kind of like that. 1 in the back and 1 on each side so they don't slide around. And you just need a little bit of glue. I just put 1 little bead. And you put it close to the edge. I want to give it enough space that the board underneath it would fit. So I can grab any of these other boards and I can use it as a gauge to see how close I can get the popsicle stick to the edge. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just needs to be to keep it from, shifting left and right. Now the back is a lot easier because you can actually see the bottom of the backboard because it's right there on the edge. So you just put this back plate flush with the inside edge of the back plate. That way when you slide it up, the back plates will be lined up. All right, let me do this other side and then we'll be right back. All right, I'm going to let that sit there and dry before we go on to any other steps. All right, now with the walls all done and the popsicle sticks on the bottom, what I need to do, or what I would like to do, is take this outside and spray it. And I just use a white. You can use any color that you like. I'm just trying to match my shelves and give a little brightness to it. Now once it's sprayed, it'll come back looking a little like this. You'll notice that the white kind of does get absorbed into the MDF, but that's okay. I'm going to put some felt on the bottom, like I said, and here's some stiff felt that I've already cut for a previous shelf, so I'm just going to show you. It's not wide enough to cover the entire bottom, so what I do is I just get a second piece and put it in the back. And in this case, it just happened to be a different color. There you go. Now, and I don't need to glue the felt down or anything like that. You can if you want, but this gives it an opportunity that if I wanted to swap it out for something else, I could. And there's the tray, complete, ready to be used. All right, so now I put some of my armor in there just to show you. These are 15 millimeter tanks. Of course, it's not filled up. I could put quite a bit more in there. The walls are tall enough that I could put probably some 28 millimeter if I wanted. And then this is the second shelf. This is another one that still needs to be painted. Line up the sides, just making sure everything's fitting just right. And it would stack just like that. You could put anything inside these shelves. Still need a bottom, still need either some cork or some felt, just to protect the tray and to make it a little less slippery. You know, and you can stack. Now this doesn't have the guide rails, so that would, you know, be precarious. I could put it on the bottom because the bottom doesn't need the guide rails. But I'm going to put those popsicle sticks on every one of them. Make them all identical. Let me show you what I've got going on my shelf right now. Like I said, I have 7 of them already made. Let me go ahead and point these out for you. All right, let me get out of the way. But yeah, see, there's a couple of them right there stacked with some World War II figures in. These, you can see how tall these shelves are. And I don't know if you can see up here, but there's a little bit of a gap between the plastic bins and the top of the shelf. I need to tighten that up a little bit, making more room for these actual shelves, and then I can put trays in there. I have this one tray here from War Bases, and you can see that it's a beautiful tray, but it's narrow and it's long. So it actually sticks out about an inch past the shelf, which is about 12 inches. And with these 12-inch MDF boards, they fit on the shelves almost perfectly. And so, yeah, I just need to make more of those. All right, guys. Well, thank you for coming out and checking out this video. If you're interested in picking up some miniatures from my eBay store, you should check out my eBay site. And if you are interested in getting some miniatures painted for yourself, you should drop me an email, and I'd be glad to send you a commission worksheet so you'll know exactly how much I charge. All right, guys. Thanks for coming out, and I'll catch you in the next one.